honey, was that a good lunch or what? I know my tummy's happy right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and where I came from point A to point B, because a lot of us kind of, you know, I sound the jack of all trades and the skill of none. What do you do? But I have a lot in my bag. You know, we are skilled not just in one area, and just because you're called to go one area doesn't mean that you can't do several things in that one business. So we may be doing hair, but you can also be the counselor, because the counselor's in, well, that person's sitting in a chair. So, I started out in the medical field, actually. So, from medical to nails, figure that one out. But anyways, what ended up happening was that there was a change in direction the family was going. And so God was shutting a lot of doors where everything was fluid. I had my world was a dream, and I had everything perfect like I had it because I was too comfortable. God had to move the chess pieces, right? So that caused me to move. And so because I was in dental hygiene, I was like I was also in OR tech kind of thing. I was physician's assistant, surgical assistant. And so I didn't want to go back into that field because that was on Monday through Friday. I already had my kids were small at the time, very, very small at the time. And so my number one priority was my family. And I didn't want to compromise that. So I had to figure out a way, something that I enjoyed, something that I really fitted in, and something that met my needs and my family's needs. Lo and behold, I can do nails. Because I was only an 8-week course, and the way that my husband and I worked it out, because he has his own schedule. On the weekends, I could go to work. During the weekday, he would take turns to where he could work at home. I could go to school. And it was only 8 weeks. So I was able to do that. It wasn't extremely expensive. It wasn't like I'm going back to medical school or dental school, and then you couldn't have a job because you had 20 credits to work with. You know, it wasn't like that. It was very, if it's one spot that you want to start out and you don't have the finances to go at it full blown, that is a perfect place to start. Okay? So what I did was, while my husband kept the kids at home, I was going to school, and then once I was finished, on the weekends, I would go to work while he took care of the kids. I didn't have family around. I didn't have the resources that a lot of people do have out there. So I had to think outside the box and make it work. So I had the most fabulous job. I ended up, my first job was in a salon, and it was nothing but the gossip column of town. I hated it. I hated it. But I always wanted to work at this one spot, and that I've been there before. I checked them out. I got services done there. The people were phenomenal. And I'm like, that's my dream job. I want to work there. Lo and behold, why didn't I think about that before and just gone in there and ask questions, get to know the people, right? Ended up landing the job a year later. Loved it. Had my own room, was able to minister to people. And it was funny, one lady was going through a lot of issues, and the lady that owned the spa happens to be a pastor's wife. So she asked her, how did it go? And she goes, I have never had that kind of pedicure before in my life. So she's coming back because it was the ministry that was happening at that point. So anyways, long story short, here I am. I've been a nail tech since 2003. So I've had the opportunity to work in a spa, work in a salon, on the side, inside out, backwards and inwards, however you think of, I've done it. So it's been very, very fun. So now let's talk about manicures and pedicures. And I did bring a couple of things that you guys can play around with, put it on if you want to, it's fine. Ask questions and everything else like that. But as a nail tech, you get to do manis and pedis. You don't really get to do a whole lot of waxing or whatever else unless you get some people cross the line there, but you really have to have a license for that, so let somebody like Amie do it. It's a lot of fun, and you can do whatever you want. You can do, and this is why I did it, because I can have my own schedule. I'm my own boss. And a lot of times you work in these salons and spas, but you're an independent person, and you can work and do your own hours. They can't tell you what to do. You're going to tell them, this is how I'm going to do it. So the hours, the type of clientele. Did you know you can hire and fire your own clientele? You can hire and fire. Listen, some people out there, no matter how you're out there bending backwards to please them, it is not good enough. And you know they have issues. So you can love on them as much as you can, but sometimes you just got to say enough is enough. So that's why I love my field, because you can be your own boss, have your own hours, and have fun. It's like, I don't even think of it as a job, because it's like G&O, girls' night out. You know, you're doing each other's nails, and it's not a skill that you really have to acquire. Everybody does their own nails at one point or another, right? We may not be good at brushing the color on, but that just takes time. It's like anything. So it's a great spot to get started. So if you want to be a well-rounded cosmetology person, you want the whole 9 yards. I know people that can even do massage. They can cut hair. They can do nails. They can do aesthetics. They can do, I mean, name it. And they have all the licenses, and they're one shop, one-stop shop. So, but that's a good way to start. So, the industry right now is changing quickly. They're expanding our industry, because it just doesn't become just about nice-looking nails. They're now coming out with the medical field. People are having a lot of immune issues where they're getting a lot of funguses and things like that. So now they're crossing over to work with doctors in podiatry. So that's another field that you can do. All the way to even Hollywood, where people are hiring their own hair, makeup, and nails, and you get to travel. I've met a couple people like that. And so right now, if you go to a hair show, anybody can go to a hair show. Start doing your homework now. See the products that you like. And right now, like, one of the products that I absolutely love, number one is the Zoya. That doesn't have the formaldehyde. People are beginning to be very reactive to formaldehyde on the nails. And that doesn't have a lot of the chemicals that people are actually now beginning to learn they can't do. Then the other thing is the shellac. The shellac has been out for a year. And basically what that is y'all know the gels and the acrylics. You have to, like, prep the nail, put it on, and then, God bless you, if you have to take them off, because it may take forever to take it off, right? Well, they came with a great product, which is just like nail polish. You don't have to damage the nail bed, and one thing I don't do is acrylics. I hate them because it damages the nail. Some people can do lifelong with acrylic nails all their life. They're great candidates. For the most of us, forget it. Mine, they weaken, they're damaged. So this is a perfect alternative, because it's a brush on. You don't have to prep the nail at all. You don't have to make those fibers stick out like working with wood, where it just, the bristles come out and it's like that, and it's horrible if they start breaking. So it's a brush on, and you just bake it on the UV light, and it comes out like that, and instantly you want to go around and show them. I did this last night, and they last up to like 2 weeks, and they guarantee no chipping for 2 weeks. But I've actually had mine for 3, and so it just depends. And then I'll let you see mine, because mine are starting to look like they need to be getting done. But a normal, like I have the French on, a normal French lasts 4 days with regular polish. But with this, because it dries kind of like glass tile, it can last a long, long time. So, anyways, yes?
Does it chip easily?
It does not chip easily. I'll have you look at my hands. I've had mine for 3 weeks. Yeah. Yes.
You wash dishes.
You can wash dishes. I did bleach. That's an example of bleach. It's still on there. It's not perfect, but it's still on there. So I love it. I love it. And it does protect the nail. And I wouldn't go and start, naking at it, taking it off, because then you will be lifting that fiber from the nail bed, and then you'll have the split. You have to soak it 5 minutes and it pops off.
Can you shampoo hair with it?
Yep. I have even worked with nail polish remover. So long as it doesn't have acetone, because acetone is what makes it take off. Yeah, and it pops right off.
And so how much does that the shellac cost in comparison to getting
last 2 weeks?
Or
as a client, you're talking as a client. It's normally $10 above whatever the norm is. So if a manicure costs $20, you just add about, it's an average about $10. You can put your own price point if you're talking about it from a nail tech end of it. So it's a little bit more because the bottles actually cost almost $20 a bottle. So you do have to think about covering your costs. So anyways, one other thing that people are doing are chocolate pedicures. They're expanding the way that you do pedicures is not the norm anymore. So if you want to get the service as a customer, go start looking for places that are thinking outside the box, because they're coming out with awesome stuff. Yes?
I don't mean to keep asking questions, but you
Keep asking.
What is a chocolate pedicure?
Chocolate pedicures are becoming all the rage. I used to do them. And I even was going to do one called wine therapy, because, you know, most women come in and you just want to let it all out, right? So let's have a session of wine therapy. So, and it was made with wine ingredients, with antioxidants that were very good for you. Chocolate pedicures is a pedicure that's done with chocolate ingredients. So you're smelling like a chocolate bonbon by the time you're out, you know? So they have chocolate mask and all that kind of stuff, and it's actually they have ingredients that the body does absorb that's good for the skin. So you end up being like a baby's, you know what, by the time you leave, and feeling good, you know. So they're coming out with all kinds of things. I mean, even right now, nail polish is not the same besides the shellac. They have one that's now crackled, like that crackle finish. You can have and provide so many different services, and people are looking for different things. So, you know, we can talk about manicures and pedicures all day and what we can do, but a couple of things I wanted to get a hold of and tell you is, for those of you that are looking into the industry, a lot of people are afraid, and so they ask, am I made for this, and will I make it? So, number one, are you a people person? Are you a people person? Do you love people? And did I say I love people? That's number one. Do you pay attention to details? Your attitude, is your heart towards others, do you feel like a love for others where you want to serve them and help them and then make them feel better? Because that's the whole point of you could do your own nails at home, but it's never the same when you get it done, you know? So that's a whole different, and are you a product junkie? Let me tell you, nail techs are known as a product junkies, because when you go and get the best of everything, you're going, ooh la la, can I get this? Because the market out there is changing constantly, and it's always something better. So it's fun working with all these products because of the outcome. So if you're a product junkie, you'll love this industry. How do you get started? If you have nothing, you are totally broke. You have nothing. Start with what you've got. Think outside the box. If I, for example, just like I did, I didn't have my parents around to take care of the kids. I found somebody, that was my husband, but he was able to do it. Most people don't have their husbands because they're working somewhere else. Trade time, do skills or something, trade skills or something to where you can go to school. Talk to, like Amie said, talk to the head person of the school. Because if they see that you're dedicated and you're going to make it to the end, and they know that you're going to make it and you're going to be spending that time, they're going to see that and they're going to do whatever it takes for you to make it. So if you're willing, anything's negotiable. So if you're willing to do that, find your resources, ask. What's the worst that can happen? Say no? Did you lose anything when you heard a no? No. So ask. And the other thing is, a lot of times, like Amie said, do you have clientele? Like once you graduate, do you have clientele? I didn't have it. Well, guess what? If you don't have the product, if you don't have clientele, start before you actually graduate. Because when you're a student, you can still use those hours to practice, and that could be your future clientele. Don't wait till the moment. Work before that. And if you don't have nail polish like I do, like a whole set, Ask people for nail polish. Hey, can I borrow that nail polish? They don't know. Your clientele doesn't know they're not yours. Just borrow it. What doesn't matter, so long as they know that you care for them. And that's how you start getting your clientele. Let's see, because I know I'm running short here on time. Be persistent. Be resourceful. Be teachable. And provide services that most people don't. You may have a signature about yourself or branding. Branding is what makes you unique against everybody else. Start marketing yourself like that. And people love that. People like it. You didn't hear about the chocolate pedicures, right? Not a lot of people do that. Why? It costs too much, or blah, blah, or going through the, more cleanup at the end. Would you rather have more cleanup and more money at the end and enjoying it? Or would you not, you got to think about that. If it's popular and people like it, go for it. Okay, and I wanted to leave you with one other inspirational thing. I had asked God, I'm like, God, I want to give them something inspirational that they can go home with. And a friend of mine ended up giving me a book called, which is fantastic, Wake Up and Dream, and it's by Pat Mesiti. Anyways. And I looked through it, but I didn't really open it, just looking through the front and seeing the chapters and everything else like that. And it was fantastic. I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. So then as I'm writing my notes for today, I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab a little piece of that. A friend of mine actually gave that to me, and I'm like, okay, I might use that. So I open up the page, and lo and behold, what does it say? Exactly what I was talking about. Be teachable. Do you love people? And did I say, do you love people? So anyway, so this is what in a paragraph, this is what it says. Character, integrity, commitment, endurance, faith, the heart of a dreamer. The heart of a dreamer is filled not only with dreams, but with a love for people, valuing people more than things. It is compassionate, not ruthless. A dreamer's heart is tender, strong, teachable, merciful, full of courage, and responsible. It doesn't hold grudges, and its arteries remain uncluttered by anger, resentment, or bitterness. And I have a saying that I always say, remember, man already went to the moon and back, so don't let anybody tell you that your dream can't be done. You must dream so big that it's laughable.
Wow.